Welcome to the third episode of Fly Tying Fridays. This episode, we're going to show you how to tie my way of doing a gold-headed hare's ear. I will be using a size 12 curved scud hook, just to make it a little bit easier for you guys to see what I'm doing. Typically, this fly is tied anywhere from a size 8 all the way down to a size 20 on a scud or a nymph hook. You can even tie it on a jig hook if you want to. This fly can have a tail if you want it to. It's up to you. Play around. Go ahead and tie it your first time without one, and then add one as you get further along and get comfortable tying it. The thread we're using here is going to be this dark brown. I found that most nature colors work really good for thread on this. The body here is going to be made of some olive dubbing. Again, just use some nature colors, like olive, some different browns, some tans. You really want these to be a nature color, some natural colors in the water. For the ribbing, we're going to use this gold wire, and a bead on this one, we're going to use a gold bead. I found it really does a good job of getting strikes if you match your bead to your wire color. So if you use a red bead, use red wire. If you use a green bead, use green wire. But the golds and the brass, they really make it shine and it pops and it attracts a lot more strikes. As you learn and practice, tie all kinds of different colors. Thread, wire, beads. Change it up, play with it, have some fun. Figure out what colors work in your area, and you never know. You might throw out something pink and white and they might just tear it apart. Okay, let's start tying, and I encourage you again, tie yours while I'm walking you through it. As I say, I am no professional, but it should make it easier for you to learn, knowing that we are all just figuring out different ways and making them our own.
Alright, after you've got that bead on, we'll go ahead and put that hook in our vise. Lock down nice and tight. We'll go ahead and start with our thread. Couple wraps forward, couple wraps back. Lock that thread in there. Cut off our excess little nubbin. And then we want to start taking that tight wraps back towards the back. Get about halfway. That's when we're going to set up for our ribbing wire. At this point, we'll go ahead and lay our ribbing wire in there. Little loose wrap at first, and then we can tighten and wrap her all the way back. Just about to the back of that bend, about right back here. If you have a dubbing twister, this is the perfect time to use it. If you do not have one, I'm going to go ahead and show you how to set it up, and then I'll show you how to just make a dubbing rope if you don't have a loop twister. So your loop twist, we want to go ahead and pull out about 3 to 4 inches, wrap it back up there and lock it. For those of you who don't have your dubbing twister, go ahead and get a little bit of fly tying wax. Take that and just rub it on the top part of this line. Top, 2-3 inches. And then you don't want those clumps. Go ahead and just rub them out. We'll go ahead and take some of our olive dubbing, which that's probably too much. A little of this stuff goes a long way. So we're just going to take that, and with our dubbing wax on there, we're just going to kind of lay it in and twist it. And that wax is going to make it stick, so you don't have to worry about having a loop twister. If you have a loop twister, it is a lot tighter of a wrap. We're just going to take this and just do our wraps with this guy now. Start right back there at the bottom. Stay nice and tight. And with a dubbing rope or a worm rope, you kind of just have to keep going until you run out of dubbing. But you're already tight. You don't have to tie your dubbing down that way. With a loop twister, you're going to have that loop you bring up, and then you're going to have to knot that and lock it down. Okay, let's go ahead and wrap our ribbing wire, which we're going to wrap in opposite directions. Pretty evenly spaced wraps. We get up to the top up here, we're just going to wrap it on that bead to hold it. 2 wraps forward. Move that wire so that it's in front. Go ahead and do 2 good wraps behind it. And then you should be able to do that helicopter twist and just get that wire to break right off for you. Now that we've got that all built up, we're going to go ahead and do a couple more wraps just to make a little bit of a thorax up here. Go ahead and take your whip finish tool. Just going to give it a good 5 little whips. Pull that bottom part out, cinch her up. Go ahead and take your scissors and trim off that thread. Now for this hare's ear, get yourself a little brush tool, a pipe cleaner, some Velcro. This is the most important part of your gold-headed hare's ear. Take this and make that fly as messy as you can. If you tied this fly and it looks neat and pretty, you did it wrong. You want this to be buggy, fuzzy, uneven. If you're wanting to make it perfect, go back to week 1 and tie yourself a zebra midge and play with some colors. This one you want to be messy. If you have enjoyed this video or learned something new, please subscribe down below. I will have a walkthrough for a different fly every Friday, starting with some basic patterns to help learn different techniques that will all come together in more difficult flies down the road. Thank you again for watching. Comment down below if you can guess what we're tying next week. Here's a hint. The fly I am tying at the end of this video is the fly we will be tying in the coming week. Can you find out what it is?